Third grade.
So middle school was the worst years of his life. You know, when you get to middle school, that's where you start developing those friendships and or lack of friendships if you're different. People are in their cliques, and then they like to bully those who don't fit. And that started. That's about 7th grade. 6th grade wasn't too bad.
Because we was sort of, you had 5th to 6th grade was hard, but 6th to 7th was like probably the hardest.
Yeah, they still kind of guide you a little more in 6th. And then 7th grade, you're pretty much on your own. But he continued to have difficulty staying on task. He had major social issues. So in elementary school, he had friends, and we could take him, he's an only child, we could take him to the park or somewhere when he always finds somebody to play with. He never had any social issues. But once middle school started and the bullying started and the wounds, because he wasn't diagnosed and we didn't know why he was struggling, he's built those walls up, and he really doesn't trust people. Still has very few friends. But when you have everybody doesn't bully, but the bullies run it for everybody else because they think, those other people think the same things because they believe the lies. His reading teacher told us that he was falling through the cracks. And that's one of those things where I asked her, what does that mean? What am I supposed to do? And she said to me, I can't say any more because if I do, I could lose my job. Now, I go higher in the special education, and they're like, that's not true. But I've learned a lot in this process of what they're instructed that they can and cannot do, because special education costs money, and there's budgets. And so we can't refer everybody that's just struggling, because he had A's and B's. He passed his SOLs. You know, what's the problem? And that's what the school was looking at, whereas we were struggling at home and trying to figure out why he couldn't do what he was, the assignments. And we as parents trust the educators. We trust the doctors that we take them to. And unfortunately, the educators are not always educated, and the doctors don't always have the right diagnosis. And so life teaches us as we go on. So as we go on further, you'll understand more about our story.